Here's my DeWalt 12-inch miter saw that I got a while back, and I'm really pleased with it. It's worked great. All the cuts are really quick and easy, and I built a cart for it that's on wheels and the arms extend. And let me show you how I built it. Okay, so before I get into the miter saw stand that I built, I wanted to show you the saw that I have and why I bought it. It's this here, the DeWalt 12-inch miter saw. And I was originally going to buy a cheaper saw. I think it was a Hitachi or something like that that was around $110, $120 from Lowe's. And I ended up getting this one for a couple reasons. First, this one on sale, it was originally around $260 or $280, which was way more than I wanted to spend, but it went on sale to $230. And then on top of that, I knew you can always get a 10% coupon at the post office, or online there's codes you can put in. If you're going to buy it online, if you go to Slick Deals, you can buy you can get 20% off. But before I do that, here's the saw, here's how it came, and here was my old hand miter saw that I used and wore out, and it just got too much of a hassle, so that's why I got this new saw. But here was my final total. It was reduced down to $229, and then I used the coupon from Slick Deals, and I got even more money off of that. So my final total was $210 for that saw. And if you go to Slick Deals, you can find these coupons, and they give you a code that you can put in to get that. So that was the saw that I got, and then I drew different versions on Google SketchUp. And I ended up with something along this line. It still wasn't finished out how I was going to do the arms, but I wanted something compact and on wheels that I could move around in my shop. You can see I drew a lot on it, and I was going to go with pipes on these angles like this, so it wasn't a finished drawing, but this is what I had started with. I used 2x4s and 1x3s and for the boards, and I'll have all the plans in that Google SketchUp file on my blog if you wanted to build it. Here was the basic frame I just screwed together, just checking to see if it fit with the saw. I wanted to make sure it didn't hang over. And you can see this is just something I do instead of marking every board. For the first one I do something like this. For the rest of them, if I know I'm going to make a lot, I'll just make a quick pattern for the screw locations so they're evenly spaced. To save space, those arms were going to be hinged. So here's the first two hinges, just door hinges for a buck that I mounted on there. And I was kind of coming up with this as I went along. I wanted to check the height of these boards to the height of this fence. And it turned out if I used a 2x4 and then on top of that another 1x, and then on top of that a piece of melamine, it was going to be perfectly aligned with that fence. So I started with the 2x4s. Here's how I attached the saw to the tabletop. I used these aluminum dowel pins that I put in, and they fit, 4 of them. I can see I traced it on, they fit right in, so the saw was nice and steady in there. These were the original wheels I was going to use. I ended up not using these. I wanted ones with locking wheels on there. This was the back fence. Like I said, I wanted to use this melamine, so I glued it onto the piece of 1x3, and I used lots of clamps because I wanted a nice smooth surface for them to ride on. And the same goes for this bottom shelf. I glued the melamine onto that. Then I used the belt sander to even them all up. For the arms, I did have to create some supports because there's a lot of force on that inner angle. So I glued another piece of 2x4 onto there. And these were pretty much the finished arms before sanding and everything. And you can see I was testing it out with the pins and the hinges to see if everything was going to work. And this is where I was trying to come up with how to support these arms. I did glue another piece onto here, and I was going to use these pipes at an angle to support them. And you'll see that later. I spackled and sanded everything smooth. This was after I painted it white, I think, and then this was the first coat of red. I just had some red paint lying around. Then I polyurethaned it as well. I did 2 coats of paint, 2 coats of polyurethane. And here were the new wheels that I used. You can see they had locks on them. And here it is pretty much finished and the arms fully extended. You can see these provide a lot of support. They're way out at the ends. I could have used wood, or some people use these type of long hinges, but These aren't too bad, and I can store them in a spot in the bottom when I'm not using them. They're really quickly and easy to pop them out. Here it is from another angle. You can see how they fit in at that angle was kind of hard to drill. I kind of had to freehand it, and a lot of using the wood rasp to get these pipes. You wanted them tight, but not too tight that you couldn't get them out. Here's just one arm up, and there it is in the compact form. The height, I think the finished height for this was a little higher than 36 inches, a nice level height that you don't have to bend over to make all your cuts. And you can see here's where the pipes store, and it's on wheels. I can get it out of the way, but when it's fully extended, it's nice and wide. I can cut a long board. If you want something super accurate and precise with this back fence, hinges aren't, they're not going to align perfectly flush. So if you really want something super well aligned, you might have to go with something more permanent. I really needed something compact, so I'm really using this fence as the flush alignment, and these just kind of as a placeholder to support it. But if you need all of these to be perfectly aligned every time, there's a little bit of movement in the hinges and a little movement in the bars, so maybe this isn't the exact design you want, but for compactness, I felt this was the best option. So if you wanted to get a copy of the plans and the Google SketchUp drawing and everything that I did for the price list and everything, I'll put it up on my blog. So good luck.